Hello buddy, welcome back to another video. And this video is the 10th episode of Minecraft in depth. And this will be for now the last episode of Minecraft in depth. I might make more in the future, but I don't want to limit myself too much to just sticking to one series. So there will not be another Minecraft depth video next week, but maybe later on if you guys show enough support on this series. And the topic of this 10th episode of Minecraft in depth is old Minecraft versions. And so this topic was suggested by the Duck Knight, as you can see right here. And so he suggested the versions before alpha. Of course, there are hundreds of different versions before alpha, so I'll just go over the main stuff. I know this series is called in depth, but if I had to make an in-depth video on all of these versions before alpha, then the video would probably be like 10 hours long or something. So I'll just do a brief overview instead of a super deep dive. But I'll try to at least sketch the different versions that were available before alpha and what happened in them. So the very first version known is the Cave Game Tech Test or Cave Game Tech Demo. It was made on the 13th of May of 2009, but this version was never released to the public. It was only made by Notch himself. He played in it. There's also a video of him playing this first Cave Game demo, and I'll show a little clip on screen right here. So this is what it looked like, the very first version of Minecraft, right after Notch actually created it. There were just 3 blocks, air, cobblestone and grass. And the cobblestone texture was imported from Notch's previous game Ruby Dung, which is also what the RD stands for in the versions. So Cave Game Tech Test was called RD131655, where RD once again stands for Ruby Dung. Then the second version of Minecraft was Java Edition Pre-Classic RD132211, and it's the version you see on your screen right now. I'm actually playing in it. It's the oldest version available on the launcher. It was created on the same day as the first version, but just 4 hours later. And so in this version you can now start placing and breaking blocks. So left clicking builds a block and right clicking destroys a block. This is the exact opposite as how it is today in Minecraft. And you can place cobblestone at the cobblestone layer and grass at the grass layer. There is no way of switching between these two blocks apart from just placing them at a certain layer. As you can see, there's one layer of grass here and then there's just layers of cobblestone. The world is also not that large because the border is right here. You can also respawn by pressing R, and it teleports you to a random part of the map, as you can see. So the game was still called Cave Game in this version. And that's pretty much it. There's not much to the game just yet. Now for the third version, once again Minecraft is still called Cave Game, but in this third version, or RD132328, which was released 1.5 hours after the previous version, Notch added the human mob. You can see running around and flailing its arms around. So they're the first mob to ever be added to Minecraft, or Cave Game as it was still called. And 100 of these generate all around the map. So you can see they generate everywhere if you just respawn a couple of times. Also, the world is this deep. Let's go all the way down to the bottom of the world. It's actually pretty deep, but there's not a lot going on. And there we go. There's no bedrock or anything. Just a massive layer of blocks. Also, there's another human falling down with me, and another one over there as well. Oh yeah, there's no way to reset it apart from just respawning with R. There we go. Now moving away from Cave Game, the game was next called Minecraft Order of the Stone, and this was only visible for version RD 2009-05-15, which of course was released on 15th of May of 2009. There is a version called this in the launcher, but if you launch it, it just launches a different version, sadly. And this version added dirt, stone and planks. And now we move on to the very first version of Minecraft, where the game was actually called Minecraft. So this is RD 1652. It was released once again on May 15th of 2009, a couple hours after the previous version. This is all going very quickly. There's just a couple of days or even hours between these different versions. But the game is evolving very quickly. As you can see, the grass texture has changed to pretty much the texture it looks like today. And there we have the stone block as well. And you can actually see particles when you break blocks, which you didn't see before. And you can actually place blocks on top of yourself, which, yeah, I don't know what that is over there. That's a bit strange. You also can't fly in this version yet. You can summon humans by pressing G as well. making them flop all around. Somehow the animation of the humans has become worse in this version. Okay, yeah, there's just a large hole here. I'm not quite sure why. But the whole world is now made out of stone instead of cobblestone. You can still respawn with R. You can also change blocks by pressing the number keys on your keyboard. So there's stone, dirt, cobblestone, planks, and that's pretty much it. So these are the only 4 blocks in the game. Of course, there's grass as well, but you can't place it with the arrow or with the number keys. Then after Minecraft was renamed to Minecraft, there was also a part called Minecraft Alpha, which is not the same as Alpha. Very strange, I know. And this is all part of pre-classic. So Cave Game, Minecraft Order of Stone, Minecraft Alpha and Minecraft are all part of pre-classic. And then we move on to classic afterwards, where classic contains early classic, multiplayer test, survival test, late classic and server. Then there's Indev, which has 0.31 and Minecraft Indev. And then there's infdev, which just has different versions of infdev. And afterwards there's Alpha. It's all very complicated. I'll show this picture on screen right now from the Minecraft wiki, which displays it very nicely. I think it's very easy to see immediately what the different versions are and where they belong. And this is also what I use, of course, to go through all these versions and get all the information from it. So sadly, none of the Minecraft Alpha versions under pre-classic are available in the launcher, so I also don't think they're worth showing. So now I'll move over to a version of early classic, which is part of classic. And this is version 0.0.13A03. As you can see in the top left hand side of the screen, also I have 1000 FPS for some reason, because, well, there's not much going on still in the game. This version was released on May 22nd of 2009. And in this version, humans no longer generate, but you can still summon them using G. And the world in general just looks a little bit nicer. Now there should also be water and lava lakes. There we go. I think we can see a huge ocean around the world. Yes, there's just a huge ocean around the world. You can't even go down there. You can go down there, but you can't fall into it. And yes, there is bedrock in this version. You can also still respawn by pressing R. And let's see if there are any new blocks. So the block placing is also different. Now you have to press right click first and then left click to place. There's dirt, stone, cobblestone, planks, and that's not it. There's also saplings, apparently. But there are no trees around yet, so I don't think there are any trees in this version. There's now also a menu when you press escape, while previously in previous versions when you pressed escape you just exited the game. There is now generate new levels, save level, load level and back to the game, where you can create a new world, and there's this loading menu, which is very familiar to many people. And there's actually a bit of water, we can go into this world as well. Look at that, very nice. Now after this version there are not a lot of versions that are actually available in the launcher, but I'll go through a couple of them because I think they're important. So after early classic there was the multiplayer test, which was pretty self-explanatory because it was to test the multiplayer capabilities of Minecraft. But they also added trees, and both gravel and sand and lava were in the game. The first version of the multiplayer test was released on May 31st of 2009. And it took a pretty long time for them to work that out, but then on September 1st of 2009 they started with survival test instead of multiplayer test, which focused more on the survival mode, of course. And before that you only had creative mode because there is no way to die in this world. And you can just break and place any items you want, which is not what Minecraft Survival is about, of course. And in the survival test they added a whole lot of blocks and items like signs, arrows, creepers, pigs, skeletons, zombies, armor, options, experience, particles, all kinds of stuff was added in the survival test, but sadly we can't get to them because they're not available in the launcher. Then after the survival test there was a late classic, which were just a couple more versions of classic, and then there were server versions as well. Once again we can't get to any of these, which is very sad, but that's just the case. Then there's Indev, which first had 0.31 versions, which were released from December 2009 to February 2010. They added mobs like Reyna into the game, which you can see a picture of right here. This was done on the 23rd of December of 2009. And after 0.31 there were a couple more versions of Minecraft Indev during February of 2010, and then afterwards they continued on to Minecraft infdev from February 2010 to June of 2010, and these are last versions before the alpha version of Minecraft. Now once again, there's not a lot of these versions available in the launcher, but one of the infdev versions actually is. So the first infdev version released on the 27th of February 2010. They added golden apples, the farlands, but also brick pyramids and obsidian walls, which you might have seen if you've watched my Minecraft all structures video where I showed these off. But now let's actually go over to the one infdev version we can actually play from the launcher. And here we go. This is Minecraft Inf 2010-06-18 and was launched on June 18th of 2010, and it was the very first Secret Friday update. And as I said, this is the only infdev version available in the launcher. And now it actually looks a whole lot different. There's actually a start menu when you load up the world, and you can create a new world, 5 worlds in total actually. So this is what it looks like, and it's, well, a whole lot different than the previous version we saw. There are trees, we're in survival mode, you can break blocks, and there's textures, there's lots of stuff that has been added, there's more generation, there are lots more blocks as well. Yes, that's gravel, it looks awful, but it can now actually fall. There we go, which it previously could not. There are lots of different options here, music, sound, invert mouse, show FPS, all kinds of stuff here, even render distance. And you can also change your controls, where you can toggle the fog with F. So there we go, if we can toggle the fog all the way down to this, you can't see anything. Or you can see a whole lot of the world. You also have an inventory, which you can use with I, which looks pretty much the same as the inventory we have right now in Minecraft. But yeah, there's just a shield slot missing. And, well, pretty much there's no sneaking. There is F5, but only a back view. And you still flail around with your arms, which is pretty crazy. Also in this version, minecarts and rails were added. I also don't think there's any way of going into creative mode in this version. So there's not really a great way for me to show this off very nicely. But this is the last available version before Minecraft Alpha in the launcher. And I think this is a nice point to wrap up this, for the time being, last episode of Minecraft in depth. I hope you all enjoyed this series as much as I did making it. I want to thank DeSmikkelaar for becoming a tier 3 member and also creating the logo for this series. Thank you so much, DeSmikkelaar. Let's just ignore this. Okay. Also, sheep. There are sheep. Look at that. If you punch them, you get their wool. Okay, I can explore this forever, but you can explore these versions for yourself as well, of course, because these are all available in the launcher for you to play around with. There we go. You can still leave a comment with a topic for the next Minecraft in-depth video. It might just take a whole long time before I make a new Minecraft in-depth video. But if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future Minecraft videos. But there we go. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. So until then. Bye bye.